Hello fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Starrapter. Welcome back to the channel. It's time to talk about a brand new Star Wars ongoing comic book series from Marvel. This one is Jedi Knights, issue number 1. This one is The Invasion of Syrinx Prime, written by Marc Guggenheim, with artwork by Madibek Musabekov. But first, before we dive into this issue, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. It's the one way to support me here, and I do appreciate it. With that being said, yes, back at the previous New York Comic Con 2024, we got the announcement of a brand new ongoing series of Jedi Knights, and this series does take place before the events of the Phantom Menace. We get to see the heyday of the likes of Mace Windu, Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, Count Dooku. The list goes on. If you're a fan of Jedi, this is your story you're going to want to read. This is an ensemble piece, and the overall scope of this ongoing series, even though it's ongoing, it's more or less connected with anthology stories that are based upon 2 or 3 Jedi, I believe, with each issue doing their own adventures, but I think it all ties in, and we'll get to that in a moment. But let's talk about this premiere episode, or issue, if you will, and that is dealing with a big civil war. The Jedi get called into action. Both sides of these 2 warring planets, you have Vekura and you have Syrinx Prime, both at heads with one another. There's lots of death, lots of battles. The Jedi is what they're doing right now. They're being mediators. They're trying to peacefully resolve this conflict. And when it's pretty evident that neither side is really the White Knight, they come up with this brilliant plan to basically destroy this refinery that both of them need to create their armies and whatnot. And that forces them to come to the table and shake hands. So throughout this issue, we get to see characters popping in and popping out. We got characters that are brand new, such as Vecna Mooncrest and Barim Kata, as well as Sierra Longa. So I like that we're getting these different vignettes of characters battling, or characters like Qui-Gon and Barim kind of having negotiations with one of the generals. So we're kind of all over the battlefield in a sense of both mentally, spiritually, as well as physically. At one point, Qui-Gon Jinn is beset upon by an assassin, and that is where we will link, I believe, with the rest of this series. Qui-Gon is trying to figure out who this attacker was, what's their deal, what's going on here. So that's going to be, I think, our thread for all these sort of anthology issues going forward. The big things for me in this issue is, first of all, just seeing the breadth of the amount of Jedi in their prime. Ki-Adi-Mundi, Yarael Poof, these guys that are relegated to the background of the Phantom Menace have recently been able to get a lot of the spotlight, such as with John Jackson Miller's novel, The Living Force, which I really enjoyed. So we're seeing a renaissance, if you will, of all these different Jedi coming back into the fore with Star Wars in the comics specifically. The artwork is amazing. So many splash pages, which really does well for an ensemble piece such as this one. I really enjoyed that. And there's a big theme with this one between Qui-Gon and Barim. They're trying to figure out what's going on with the mystery, and Qui-Gon is giving them this information that basically summarizes saying, theories are not truth. You can speculate, you can guess at it, but you need the hard facts to really make sure you're going to be confident in giving a solution. So I do like that, right? Maybe harkens to today's world, right? Commentary with Star Wars on real world stuff. So all in all, I've enjoyed this one so far. Looking forward to the next issue, which will present an interesting issue, because it's going to bring back an old Legends character, Aetha Prime or something, versus Yoda and this new character, Vecna Mooncrest, who looks really cool, by the way. So there you have it. What were your thoughts on Jedi Knights issue number 1? Plus, I have my review of the Hyperspace Stories Qui-Gon original graphic novel that also came out this week on its own separate review, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. But otherwise, that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.